Assalamu alaikum. I must congratulate you. We have come halfway, or rather more than half, of the course. This is the first week that we are meeting after midterm, and this would be, in counting, it would be 7th week. So today we are going to talk about the health in ancient India, and it is known as Ayurveda, means the Veda of health. And its Charaka says the body is the project of food, disease is born of food, happiness and sorrow result from wholesome and unwholesome diet. If you come to think of it, this can be very true today, especially in these past few weeks. We have experienced it. Charaka was the 5th century Common Era authority on Ayurveda. Ayurveda is the Indian system of medicine. Our bodily health, even our complexion, physical grace, good voice, life, talent, happiness, contentment, growth, excellence of intelligence are all established on food. This is what Charaka believed. So the ideal of Ayurveda is to maintain the body and mind of man in optimal health and in harmony with each other, and man himself in harmony with his environment. So imbalance, according to Charaka, is disease, and balance is health. So balance that Ayurveda seeks is not, however, static but dynamic. For Ayurveda recognizes that the body and mind of man, as well as the environment in which he lives, indeed, the entire cosmic system, are in a state of constant flux, and these changes affect the health and well-being of man. The most important of these lifestyle adjustments require to be adjusted in diet. We are, in a sense, what we eat, but equally what we eat should depend on what we are. Though Ayurveda has a set of general rules about diet, it holds that there is no single diet that is right for everyone, or even any single diet that is right for an individual all through his life, or even all through a year. So one man's food could be another's poison. The physiology and psychology of the individual, his age and lifestyle, the nature of his occupation, as well as that of geographical, climatic, and socio-cultural environment which he lives, are all factors that should be taken into consideration in determining the diet suitable for him. And then further to this is that the diet has to be varied according to season. The Sanskrit term Ayurveda, as I said in the beginning, means the Veda of health and longevity. And health, according to Charaka, is the absolute prerequisite for the fulfillment of all the goals of life. That is why it is said commonly that health is wealth. Nothing whatever in life, not even a spiritual merit, can be attained with ease or pleasure without health. So taking care of the body, maintaining health in Ayurveda means more than taking care of just the body. It also means bringing every aspect of man and all his activities in harmony with the physical and socio-cultural environment in which he lives. Excuse me. Ayurveda is a holistic system. It has its philosophical basis, the common belief of ancient Indian sages that the whole universe is one. You must be wondering what has happened to my hand. Let me share it with you. Let me share my pain with you. I burnt my hand about two weeks earlier and it is still not right. Boiling water got all spilled over it. So, and as everything in the universe is interconnected, so everything influences everything else. Every change in man, in his body and as well as in his mind, and every change around him in his physical as well as his familiar and socio-cultural environment affects his health. Thoughts and emotions have physiological effects, and physiological changes affect thoughts and emotions. Doesn't it surprise us that at what time what is being talked? Mental state affect physical health because the mind and the body are not independent entities, but two facets of the particular amalgam of matter that constitutes man. So Ayurveda is essentially a materialistic system which holds that all that happens in the universe are material processes, mere transformation of matter. If we come to think about it, these are startlingly modern views in an ancient medical system. However, Ayurveda knew very little about human physiology and pathogenic microorganisms. Charaka and Susruta believed, as did Aristotle, that the heart is the organ of the consciousness. Isn't it? They had no understanding of the brain and its functions, though they did have some knowledge of the nervous system and the importance of the spinal cord. It is further held that everything in the universe is made up of matter in its 5 basic forms: ether, air, fire, water, and earth. And that the 3 humors determine the physiological and psychological state of man through their association with one or more of these forms of matter. Wind is associated with air and ether and controls the neuromuscular sensations and responses of the body. Bile is associated with fire and controls digestion and metabolism as well as intelligence, memory, and temperament. And mucus is associated with earth and water and controls bodily structure. So the drainment of these humors occurs mainly due to an improper diet, but there are other causes also. The wind is deranged by excessive physical or mental effort, sexual overindulgence, sleeplessness, and so on, and this causes nervousness, diarrhea, flatulence, and arthritis. Bile is drained by anger, grief, anxiety, fasting, and so on, and this causes emotional instability. Stomach pain and yellow coloration of skin and eyes. Mucus is deranged by daytime sleep, excessive drinking of water, and a sedentary life, and that makes one cold, pallid, dull, itchy, constipated, and avaricious. The change of weather also causes imbalance of humors, makes one vulnerable to diseases. These are the details that we talk even today about human body and human mind, though in now different terms. The main objective of Ayurveda treatment is to restore the humoral balance in the patient by soothing or neutralizing the excited humor through diet control and administration of drugs. The emphasis on diet had marked Indian medicine for many centuries, even before Ayurveda was formulated. For Megasthenes in the 4th century BCE had noted that Indian physicians laid great stress on dietary cures. Isn't it familiar in our homes? Whenever we get sick, some kind of a diet is there always. An essential component of dietary cure was fasting, which was often the initial response of ancient Indians to illness, to allow the body to use its own resources to fight the disease. And a diet of grains, fruit, milk, and oily food is generally prescribed to counteract deranged wind, Bile is pacified by consuming ghee and thickened milk, sweet juices, astringent fruits like gooseberry and figs, and bitter vegetables like coriander and bitter gourd. Bitter gourd is Karelia. Today we call it Chinese lemon, Chinese melon or bitter melon. The cure for deranged mucus is to consume pungent and bitter spices like pepper, garlic, and ginger. So the humors are increased by articles possessed of like qualities, which they are abated by those of contrary qualities. The practice of yoga is also considered a good means of bringing the humors to balance. And you know, yoga is in fashion these days. Life, Ayurveda holds, is sustained and its quality determined by the metabolic process by which food is digested and turned into rasa, chyle. Chyle is the first of the 7 dhatus, constituents of the body, out of which the other 6 dhatus, blood, flesh, fat, bone, marrow, and semen, are made. But food can nourish as well as debilitate. Life, Charaka said, is nothing but food transformed into life. Moderation, however, is a relative term. What is moderate for one man can be excessive or insufficient for another. One should take a proper measure of food, directs Charaka. One's measure of food is dependent upon the power of one's digestive fire. People who do hard physical labor need to eat more because the digestive fire is enhanced by exercise. As a corollary to the importance that Ayurveda attaches to diet, it pays particular attention to digestion. So long as man is endowed with it adequately, the digestive system, he lives long in good health. When it is deranged, he falls ill. Ayurveda stresses that diet should be regulated to suit not only the health and lifestyle of the individual, but also the environment in which he lives. Very interesting details. The digestive power is weakest during the rainy season, and so one should take particular care about diet, Ayurveda advises. The Ayurvedic concept of a balanced diet is not merely a matter of counting calories, but of balancing the distinctive properties of various food items. The general rule being that a healthy diet should consist of food of different taste and colors. Taste and colors being indicators of nutritional properties. These are no food taboos. There are no food taboos in Ayurveda, and it permits, even recommends in certain cases, the consumption of beef, chicken, onion, garlic, and wine, which are abhorred by Orthodox Hindus. And today's India is obsessed by cow and beef. However, combining food items of incompatible quality like milk and fish is considered unwholesome. All items of food, like everything else in the universe, are made of matter in its 5 forms, but in each type of food, one of these forms dominate, and it is dominant form that its consumption mainly supplies to the body. When fully transformed, the properties of the 5 forms of matter in food go to add to their counterparts in the body. For health, it is essential to maintain these 5 forms of matter in balance in one's body through balanced diet. We will complete this topic in the second part of this lecture. So, we will continue in the second lecture of this week.